1, 2, 3, 4. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We begin our service with Hinei Matov, how wonderful it is to be together, brothers and sisters. Hinei Matov, umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shalom aleichem, shalom aleikum, shalom aleichem, salam aleikum, shalom aleichem, salam aleikum, shalom aleichem, salam aleikum. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei matov umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We're going to try this one more time, and I believe that it is working. Thanks to our Graphic Endowment Fund, we have this incredible technology with this new camera system, and we can remember during the high holidays, the Reform movement provided slides to show our prayers. And in light that we're still forced to be away from this incredible space, we want to make sure that we can provide you the same opportunity. So you should be seeing the slides somewhere around here, and our technology crew is not here to tell me that it's not working, so I believe it is at this moment. It's going to be a very similar service, a few different English readings, but it's our opportunity to use our latest technology to reach all of our congregational family. We enter the sanctuary to welcome Shabbat. Within these walls, we sit surrounded by numberless generations. Our ancestors built the synagogue as a visible sign of God's presence in their midst. Throughout our long history and our endless wandering, it has endured, a beacon of truth, love, and justice for all humanity. Its presence guided our ancestors to live lives of righteousness, holding up to them a vision of their truest selves. Now we, in our turn, come into the sanctuary to affirm the sacredness of our lives. May we enter this place in shalom and peace. May holiness wrap around us as we cross its threshold. Weariness, doubt, the flaws within our human hearts, the harshness of the weak, let these drop away at the door. In the brightness of Shabbat, let peace settle upon us as we lift our hearts in prayer. And we continue with our candlelight blessing.
קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
We rise together for Kiddush.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו מרצבנו בשבת קודשו מאהבה וברצון הנחילנו זיכרון למעשה בראשית כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כיוונו בחרת מאותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Please be seated. We continue with Psalm 95, a celebration that reminds us of the 6 days of creation and also as we praise God for our incredible world.
לכו נרנן על אדוני נרים רננה לאדוני, נריע לצור אישנו, נקדמה פניו בתודה בזמירות, נריע לו כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים, אשר בידו מחקרי ארץ ותועפות הרים לו, אשר לא הים והוא עשהו, ביבשת ידיו יצרו, כי הוא אלוהינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצאן ידו. We continue welcoming the Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור מדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, שמול תפארת ולתהילה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו בני אלחקים, מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשם בתחילה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We rise together as we greet the Shabbos Queen.
בואי ושלום עטרת מלאכה, משמחה ובשורה תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לכאן דודי לקראת גאלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated. We continue with Psalm 92.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, באמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
We continue with our Chetzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם, ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. בריחו לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן בעלמא, ואמרו amen.
And we rise.
Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da-da, 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 yada-da-da-da-da. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. And there is one who rises even higher, united with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless.
Baruchu et Adonai.
Please be seated. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, for whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. We continue with Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shochbeinu uvkumeinu Nasiach mechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayenu Ve'orech yameinu Uvahem nehgeh Yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch ata Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam va'ed Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha Ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele Asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha Ukshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha Uchtaftam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Our song of freedom, our Michal Mocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da. Yai da 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 da.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts. That we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. We continue with a prayer that brings us peace. Hashkivenu.
Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Behamidenu shomreinu. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, Behamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. We continue with Vishamru.
Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש.
We rise together for tefillah.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואימותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. We continue with Ritzeh.
Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tekabel. תמיד עבודת ישראל ישראל עמך אל קרוב לכל קוראיו ונאל עבדך וחוננו שפוך רוחך עלינו ותחזינה עינינו בשובך לציון. ברחמים ברוך אתה אדוני המחזיר שכינתו
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within its borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul. May the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praise are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. We continue with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום, כי אתה הוא מלך אדון לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. מטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
We take a few moments for silent prayer.
יהיו רצון אמרי פי, יהיו רצון אמרי פי, מהגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Oh, may the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable before you, O God, my rock and my redeemer. Oseh shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu, me'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, ve'imeru,
At this moment in our service, we take time to think of those in our community who are in need of healing of body or spirit. On this Shabbat, we especially think of Linda Applebaum, Cindy Bailey, Dr. Jason Bailey, Katie Bates, Chrissy St. Charles and Dawn St. Charles, Orit Cohen, Grayson Cook, Dr. Jeff Davis, Sylvia Gauss, Elaine Gross, Danny Jones, Bart Colber, Scott Leader, Priscilla Leaf and Barton Leaf, Wayne Lewis, Vicki Luger, Caculet Mendel, Isaac Petrosky, Bethany Pridmore, Nancy Russo, Beth Scher, Jean Sklar, Robin Silverbin Ayers, Dr. Lynn Simons, Jesse Weisberg, and Marguerite Varon. If you were thinking of a loved one, a friend, someone who means so much to you, we invite you to think of them now as we sing our prayer for healing, our Mishaberach.
מקור הברכה source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Nisheberach imotenu mekor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
As Hanukkah just concluded, I think we all try to relish in the holiday spirit. And the essence of Hanukkah is really, it's a celebration of our love of Judaism. This is really the true meaning. I know we talk about the light and miracle, but it's really to celebrate Judaism free from persecution from any governing state and any movement in Judaism. This is the core of the holiday as it's presented in the book of Daniel and especially in the book of Maccabees. It's true we can celebrate this light, but it's this idea to practice Judaism free from those who want to do us harm. But in 2020, this idea of celebrating our love of Judaism truly becomes a horrible paradox. We are really celebrating a holiday where we are truly not free from our persecution, and rather an onslaught of attacks against us. And this past Hanukkah season, there have seen numerous anti-Semitic incidences during our Hanukkah celebration. And for the most part, these have been primarily been reported by Jewish sources, some local print media, but no real coverage at a national scale that they truly deserve. So far this Hanukkah, an Anne Frank Holocaust Memorial was defaced in Iowa. In Lexington, Kentucky, a member of the Chabad of Bluegrass was hospitalized after police said he was assaulted by a driver during their menorah lighting at the Chabad house. A man toppled a large menorah in Ukraine, and another menorah was vandalized at Dartmouth College. Another synagogue was vandalized in Iowa. A recently elected New Hampshire state representative shared an anti-Semitic post. A Hebrew academy in Long Island was hacked during their Zoom Hebrew school with kids, displaying Nazi images and messages attacking the students. Anti-Semitic graffiti was found outside Amherst Regional High School in Massachusetts. In Queens, they found more anti-Semitic graffiti. And a bit personal, the Detroit Red Wings, my team, they posted a picture wishing their fans a happy Hanukkah. Yet, this opened the doors for absolute vile anti-Semitism. In France, a family with the mom, the kids, they were singing Hanukkah songs in their car, only to be screamed at, harassed, and assaulted by individuals. And the next one, pay attention. A European Union Court of Justice rules in favor of banning kosher and halal slaughter. I spent a lot of time processing whether or not to give this sermon. I remember my second year in San Diego, a high holiday sermon, I wanted to speak about the horrid anti-Semitism found on college campuses and the United Nations. I think for the most part I got my point across, but the feedback I received from certain congregants that the high holidays or Shabbat, it should be a time of peace, a time of perspective. It's a way to get away from the pain of our reality and enter this safe space free from all this stuff. And I truly get that. When you're with us tonight, I want you to step away from the 24-hour news cycle, to hear our cantors sing and Paul play, and to celebrate the joy of rest. But sometimes I think we are obligated to shed light on what is going on in our community and in the world. And therefore, there's a few things that I want us to consider for tonight. We are facing relentless acts of anti-Semitism. 2019 was the worst year post-1945 in this country for American Jews. Jews were the number one target compared to any other ethnic or racial minority for hate crimes. And the silence of these past 8 days, from those who claim to be our allies and partners in fighting justice, their silence speaks absolute volume. Last Hanukkah, we prayed for the recovery of Yosef Newman, a member of the Jewish community of Muncie, New York, who was brutally attacked. He would later pass away to his wounds, but I promised myself that I would never forget his name. I want to remember it like Leo Frank, the first recorded anti-Semitic murder in this country. Since last Hanukkah and since March when he passed away, we have heard absolute zero press coverage about his murder. There hasn't been justice for his death. An onslaught of attacks this past Hanukkah, the continuation of Jews feeling scared on college campuses, the horrible story, here's another name, of USC student, University of Southern California, Rose Rich. She stepped down from student government after a relentless anti-Semitic social media campaign against her. It pains me to say that I expect anti-Semitism to happen, but it's also the silence from our allies, which pains me too. So every time things like this happen, the question we ask is, what do we do? And whenever there are attacks against us, rabbis and other civic leaders, we try to find the right remedy for that moment. I remember when the murders in Pittsburgh and Poway happened, there were remarkable and incredible rallies throughout this country standing for the Jewish community. But as I witnessed in San Diego, these rallies sooner or later became a platform for other injustices, which at the end, the rallies lost its purpose. Other remedies, more education, encourage society to become more well-read and empathic. I think it's promising that state and federal legislation, they have passed laws against the boycott, divest, and sanction movement targeting Israel. More countries are adopting the definition of anti-Semitism, but still, the remedy is never perfect. For 2,000 years, the Jewish people, we have always been labeled as the total other. And I'm often asked, Is it right-wing anti-Semitism? Is it left-wing anti-Semitism? At the end, it doesn't really matter. We're living in the center of a horseshoe, getting hit from both sides. It's right-wing extremist groups here or in Europe, or it's left-wing anti-Semitism. It's also a new phenomenon of the mainstreaming of anti-Semitism, where sources we deem safe, universities, the media, they are given a platform for those who truly espouse anti-Semitic beliefs. And it's their failure for not reporting what happens to our people, but rather what drives their ratings. And finally, here lies the biggest problem I think we all need to process together. And this may be hard to hear. I think that anti-Semitism, it's losing its meaning. It's a combination of anti-Jewish, anti-Jew, anti-Israel. It's overly academic. And I wondered if our society actually understands what anti-Semitism is. And therefore, moving forward, we need to call it what it really is. It's simply Jew hatred. Every incident that I just listed is all about Jew hatred. It pains me because I dislike this terminology, because we are not used to it. But maybe the world would see things differently. Perhaps our so-called allies in the fight for justice, that there are so many acts of Jew hatred. Perhaps the media or universities would stop giving professorships and interviews to Jew haters. I think changing the lexicon, the dictionary, it's painful. But maybe this is the necessary change moving forward. And every time there's major Jew hatred incidents, we need to find some new remedy. And therefore, here's a few take-home points. Be vigilant when there is Jew hatred. Be vocal, speak out, bring to attention, even if something happens in another state or another country. I'm not going to speculate here, but I don't know if the American Jewish community truly knew about these incidences that just took place. Hold my professional organizations, Jewish organizations, accountable, and hold the general community accountable too. Celebrate the good deeds and acts that respond to Jew hatred. During the Muncie attack, during that awful night, Joseph Gluck, who threw a coffee table at the attacker, saved more lives. The table was shattered. Now this table was transformed into a menorah stand, replicating a dreidel. And the final story is going to come from an email from a congregant a couple days ago, a member of our Temple Emanu-El family. And here's his email. We live in a neighborhood in which everyone decorates their houses at Christmas with lightened elves. When we moved into the neighborhood 20 years ago, we wanted to participate in an appropriate way. We agreed to display a dreidel in our yard rather than an elf. No problems with our dreidel for 20 years. This year, someone ripped our dreidel off its tree and took it away. We reported this incident to the Mountain Brook Police and the Anti-Defamation League in Atlanta. The police visited our house and looked at the remaining silver of our dreidel and nailed it to our tree. We're still waiting to hear from the ADL. Our neighbors, non-Jewish, were so disturbed by this act of vandalism and anti-Semitism that they talked among themselves about taking appropriate action. One suggestion was that every house should display a dreidel in its front yard. The bottom line, some of our neighbors who are skilled at woodworking and painting made a new dreidel for us and nailed it to our tree. One of our neighbors is a hunter and installed a deer camera in the bushes next to the new dreidel so we can get a picture of anyone who tries to destroy our dreidel. It's a good story at the end, but we must celebrate these neighbors and celebrate those who fight against Jew hatred. And my final point is the Hanukkah story. Sadly, we know that Jew hatred will continue, but it'll never stop us. It will never define us. We have to speak out for our people. Keep on fighting, and we can make an end to this. Shabbat Shalom. We rise together for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, בגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. It is hard to sing of oneness when the world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone. The naught but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind, but memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become, yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do our best to remember those who have passed away when we live our lives more fully, even in the shadow of our painful loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is a breath of the ultimate one. In affirming the one, we affirm the worth of each one whose life that ended brought us closer to God, in whose unity none is alone, and every life will find its purpose. On this Shabbat, we recall the yortzites of Edward Allenberg, Amy Allenberg, Theo Elper, Flossie Baum, Betty Burno, Sarah A. Bernstein, William Bremen, Eva Rowe Kane, Bernard M. Capper, Nathan Y. Cohen, Ida Cohen, Herman Jerome Cohn, Bert Cotton, Peggy Cowan, Fanny Dessler, Richard Allen Elkis, Fernfeld, Julius Fies, Jerome A. Fox, Jeanette Elizabeth Franco, Sylvia Gabus, Simon Goldstein, Anya Golger, Saul Green, Arthur Hagedorn, Ferd Khan Hardwood, Bertha Hatman, Arnold C. Hirsch, Lenore Jacobs, Helene Levin Jacobs, Rosalie Kaltman, Abraham Cantor, Linda Cartman, Paula Carson, Fema Katz, Ethel P. Kaufman, Mickey Kahn, Stella Hirsch Loeb, Sophie Malkov, Nathan Marcus, William Marks, Bertha Mendel, Kurt Mendel, Chaim Miller, Jean Morgan Besser, Abraham Isaac Odrezin, Henry Ofson, Louis Piatzik, Harry J. Plouse, Morris Q. Rogoff, Aaron Rosemore, Elaine Rosen, Stanley Routman, Alan H. Sachs, Sarah Schneiderman, Rebecca Schulman, Adolf Spielberger, Carolyn Turner, Bertie M. Unger, Kate Zalschutz, Amina Zaychik, and our heartfelt condolences in the recent passing of Joseph Cantor. He was the brother of Shirley Asband and the uncle of Kent Osband. Fred Friedman, the late husband of Brenda Friedman and father of Leah Cohen and Jordan Friedman. And Bruce Simon, the late father of David Simon. And Diane Larson, you may have seen her name on our healing list. This was my brother-in-law's aunt who passed away last week from cancer. May their memories forever be a blessing. We rise together as a united congregation for our mourners' Kaddish.
Shalom Polkle.
Yigadal v'gadash shemei Rabbah, bi'omad yivrach erotei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayet kol beit Yisrael, b'gala u'izman kariv v'yimru.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach li'olam olamei amaya, yit barach, yit shabach, yit bar'ar, yit romam, yit naseh, v'ita dar, v'ita lev, v'ita lal, shmei dekutsha, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damin ram bi'oma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. O say shalom b'imromav, huya say shalom, aleinu v'yakol Yisrael, v'imru, amen.
O say shalom b'imromav, huya say shalom.
We conclude our Shabbat service with Adon Olam.
Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nivra le'ed nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra be'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora behu haya behu hove behu yeh betifara ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 ya da 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 behu echad ve'ein sheni והמשילו להחמירה בלירי בראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא עיני וחי גואלי, בצור חבלי בעת צרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי, בנת כוסי ביום אקרא. יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת תשען בעיירה, ועם רוחי גוויעתי אדוני לי בלא אירה. יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 יא דה 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 דה.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.